All right, we got a plethora of people joining us. Hey, Michelle. Christina, good to see you. Kat and Nancy. Kat is Dangle of the Dangle and Dot. Dot is, right. You're Dangle, right, Kat? No, you're Dot. Sorry. Oh, what's a person to do? Okay, so I think let's get started because we have a full agenda and I'm sure everyone will, others will come, but we'll start the fun. Welcome everybody. It's good, very good to see you, Lorette. Good to see you, Katie, Laura, Morella, Paige. I hope you can join us on camera at some point, but it's good that you're here. Okay, so for those, I pretty much know everybody, but for those of you who may not be familiar, I am Mary Fridlin. I'm the coordinator of the Reimaginging Dementia, a creative coalition for justice. And welcome to the first of this week's gatherings, and really the first of the gatherings in which we will be celebrating our 2nd year anniversary. You can applaud and everything because that's no small thing. So anyway, let me just see if this is your first gathering, just raise your hand, put it in the chat, do something to indicate that this is your first. If it is, and some people are off camera, welcome. We're thrilled to have you here. Just a quick update. We have about 740 members now from around the world. I would say probably about 30 or 31 members. In fact, I just spoke to a wonderful new member today from Nigeria, who runs a program called Arts in Medicine and just is doing some very, very good work with people living with dementia in that country. And again, we are always gratified when people join. I think it's saying, you know, and even if they're, as I often tell people, even if they're not involved, or if someone doesn't get involved, it makes a statement to join the coalition and to support our mission and vision. But we also, you know, we recognize that what we're attempting to do and the kind of transformation we all want to see is never going to be a numbers game. I mean, maybe one day it will, but for now, it's not going to be a numbers game. And really what we're focusing on and really eager to do much more of throughout the end of this year and through 2023 is to form and create kind of partnerships, alliances, collaborations, conversations with others who are doing this kind of work, with fellow members, with others who may or may not be part of the coalition, but want to see again the kind of whose work leads with creativity, with humanity, who are making a difference, who are attempting to work outside the box, who are challenging the broad kind of and just overbearing tragedy narrative that continues to dominate this conversation. And, you know, that's starting to happen. People are reaching out to us. They're saying, we want to work with you. They want to find more radically creative ways to engage and transform, you know, a world in which, and this is something that the new member from Nigeria and I were talking about, where, I mean, it's kind of shocking, actually, no matter where you are in the world. What's sad is that the dementia, for the most part, is still surrounded by a kind of cone of silence and shame and isolation, even though tens and tens and tens of millions of people are impacted, period. I mean, this isn't 5 people with a mysterious disease over in a corner. This is something that impacts and will impact tens and tens and tens of millions. So I'm thrilled to be coming together with you because amongst those other things, I think it's important that we close that gap and that we continue to close that gap. And I just to kind of, I don't know, as anyone who's been to most of the gatherings know, I'm fond of quotes. I don't know. I just love it when I run across quotes from people who they just take me into a whole, new space or a new direction. And they say things better than I ever could, which for me is always a relief. So, but just kind of in terms of setting up what we want to do today, there were just a couple of quotes I wanted to share. One is from the science fiction author Ursula Le Guin, who many of you may be familiar with. But I just ran across it, and maybe somebody shared it with me. It says, the daily routine of most adults is so heavy and artificial that we are closed off to much of the world. We have to do this in order to get our work done. I think one purpose of play and the arts is to get us out of those routines. When we play together or hear music or poetry or stories, the world opens up again. The same thing can happen when we're around young children or adults who have unlearned these habits of shutting the world out. So I can't tell you, and I mean this from my heart, I want to thank you all for being the people, and among many, but being the people who aren't shutting the world out, because I think that is so, so important. And finally, and just another, and that's just to set up this final quote, I've been thinking a lot about, and I know we're all impacted on it, but I just was thinking more recently about just how much blaming there is in the world that goes on. I mean, we all do it. I'm not pointing a finger at anyone. In fact, I think, if anything, I think it's what I'm kind of coming to is I just don't have a lot of energy or interest in blaming. In part because I think what it helps to cover, not that I don't think that people do bad things to each other, don't get me wrong, might happen today. But I don't have much energy for it because I think it kind of helps cover over or prevent us from kind of seeing, which something that I think it's hard to see, but that it's just ordinary human beings, regular old people like all of us and so many others who have really kind of created this mess that we call the world. And I think that we're all, and this is particularly what I've been thinking about because a lot of what we're going to do today is kind of play with stigma and shame and all that comes with, being othered or being different or whatever. But we all do it. And we've spoken about this in other gatherings. We all do it. We all are stigmatized and shamed, and we all do it to other people. Sometimes without even thinking. Maybe it's in little ways, maybe it's in big ways, maybe it's in official ways, maybe it's whatever, but we'll do it. It's almost like breathing in this culture of ours. So I think that playing with it helps me at least to see that's really more what we're dealing with. And then I was reading something from a very dear mentor and friend of mine, and Lois Holtzman, who recently wrote, "We won't get rid of stigma or shame or labeling, but we can play with them. And in play, create something new, and then create and create and create again. And if we stop, then we're vulnerable to the very ugly ways we know how to relate to each other. So we're going to play today, as is our want here at the coalition anyway. And since we're going to be playing with labeling, and since I've just made the assertion that we all are labeled and experience stigma and embarrassment and shame and all of that, I thought it'd be fun. I've been doing this with workshops that I've been doing, and it's helpful for me. But in the chat, take a minute and just share a way that you're seen or labeled. That could be something you see for yourself or a way that others see you, that you can find it. And by the way, it could be very positive. So I'm not talking about just the really negative things that people, like, for example, I was at a recent workshop I did, somebody said her thing was having a bubbly personality. Like that, people begin to relate to you in a way and see you in a way. So I just thought it'd be fun to share something about you that it's very much you. So it could be that it's both a wonderful characteristic, but it also can be a royal pain in the neck because of how the people relate to you. So just take a minute. I'll begin to introduce our leader, but it would just be fun to see kind of how are we How do we see ourselves? What are some of the labels, we live with drama queen, yes. I mean, I can tell you the one that I won't write it because I have to introduce people is the one that is the person who gets things done. I can't tell you how much that drives me crazy now. So, yes, this is great. Entertainer, fat, funny friend, creative, short, tall, extrovert. This is wonderful. We'll keep playing with them. Ginger. Oh yes, saintly, I can imagine would be a good one. So good. Keep sharing. Okay, so while we're continuing to share with each other, I am going to introduce the woman who's going to be directing us today in our primary activity, which is we're going to be creating some improvisational scenes together. So before we don't hit the click off button yet, we'll make this, we'll do this together. And Mary and Rich, who I'm about to introduce, is about as good as anybody in the whole world and has worked with, I can't tell you how diverse and wide a variety of people she has worked with in creating these kinds of scenes. So we're in good hands, and we're in good hands with each other. And the desire to do this really has grown out of some conversations. And in a way, they're conversations that are happening all over the world and not just within the coalition, but about, the kinds, and specifically grew out of situations that people living with dementia, find themselves in that are difficult or stigmatizing or humiliating or just hard to respond to. And one obvious one, and is often talked about, is, for example, the interplay between doctors and people, and well, more than just the person living with, but at the moment of diagnosis, the kind of dialogue that takes place between doctors and the person being diagnosed and their family or who's ever there with them. And we all, I think, kind of know this. But there's just, it happens all the time. And again, as we've been chatting about, big ways, small ways, ordinary ways, sometimes it's just intentionally mean. But oftentimes I think people aren't intending anything, but it is no less hurtful and no less impactful. And again, we all experience that in a whole host of ways. So we thought, and I think, and Debbie and Myrna and Wally and others have been particularly, I think, helpful with this, because I think it's worth if only for our emotional well-being and our empowerment, I think it's really worth learning how to play with this stuff. Because as I said before, it's there. We're not going to get rid of it. Maybe I wish we could, but we're not probably in our lifetimes. So again, there's no right way to do this. There's no wrong way to do this. We're going to create together. Whatever we create is what we create. I think the only thing that I would ask, and on behalf of Marion and for all of us, is let's just give it this full yes and spirit that we're going to do it, and and participate the way you feel you can, and participate. This isn't a test. We're not trying to. This is not, the world has talent. I was going to say America has talent, but we have other countries. But I think every country now has has talent. So this is not a competition. So anyway, so Marion, just to say a couple words about her, and then you'll get to know her. I've known her for many, many years. We have, in many ways, we've grown up together. I've led workshops with Marion. She is just extraordinarily skilled. She's a therapeutic coach. She's a performance activist, and she's an exceedingly talented improviser and actor and director. So Marion, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Mary. Well, now I have all these great things to write in the chat that people say about me, along with being a drama queen. Mary, I was thinking, and everybody, I was thinking that Mary and I used to co-lead a workshop we called Laughing Matters. And part of what we would do is we would have people do improv scenes with me, because I'm very, I'll say this about myself, I'm skilled at and very committed to making other people look good, which is one of the tenets of improvisation. Make your partner look good. So I thought of that because when Mary was saying, don't leave the call because we're going to do improv scenes, I just want you all to know that I am here to make you all look good. So whatever offers you give me, we're going to build with them, no matter what they are. So that's a principle that I work with. And just to underline and reinforce, I call myself a play revolutionary. I'm very committed to play, and I think play is serious. So I'm playfully serious. I'm seriously playful. And what I mean by that is we could play with everything. So that play doesn't mean, play is not the same as fun. And we are not doing this in the service of trying to be funny. Actually, when you try to be funny, it usually falls pretty flat. But if we create together, one of the things we often, but not always, and we don't have to, but we create humor together. Humor is something we create relationally and socially. So yeah, let's play. I thought we would warm up. Actually, I'm going to take myself off of Spotlight. And I'm going to put some I love this music. It's really fun music from us. I'm going to call it a sister organization of ours, the Global Play Brigade. It's a tune called Tico Tico. And I thought we would just dance a little bit together. And I would highly encourage people to put your eyes on someone randomly. Oh, I hear an echo there. And if you want, imitate them. Like if you feel awkward or like really we're gonna dance, we're gonna move. We don't even have to call it dancing. We're gonna move together. And one fun thing to do is imitate each other, okay? So we'll just do this, I don't know, for like 2 minutes to warm ourselves up. Here we go. You can move any part of your body. If you're so inclined, you can even get up out of your chair. You could be a chicken. Go to page 2. Okay. Whew. I don't know about you, but I feel warmed up now. Thank you for a little heart, a little love. All right, so I think to get started, I feel like I'm in an improv show and I'm gonna ask for a suggestion. If you've ever been to an improv show, that's often what happens. But we do need some, a source material, a suggestion, an offer from anybody about a situation that you found yourself in that you find really hard, or what stigma looks like, what embarrasses you, what you can't stand, however you want to share. But that's what we need to sort of kick us off. So the floor is open, and we can go with what we do at an improv show. We'll take the first thing. Jennifer,
Okay, someone not understanding me when I say something is really frustrating in that they don't understand what I'm getting at.
Great. Is there a typical, like when you say someone, do you want to cast this, if you will, and maybe give us, who are the two characters? So you're one of them?
Yes,
Do you want to play yourself or do you want someone else to play you?
I would be honored to have someone else play me.
Okay, great. So we have one, we're casting now. So we're gonna have Jennifer, and who's Jennifer? Who can't understand Jennifer in this scene?
Let's call this person Bartholomew.
And does Bartholomew, like, who is he in relation to you, Jennifer?
Someone in a position of authority.
Okay. I'm trying to write down Bartholomew and I'm finding it impossible. So I'm going to call the other character Bart.
Good. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, and we don't have to worry about, we can cast against gender and type. So who would like to play Jennifer?
It is my life's goal.
Your life goal. I love that,
Wow.
Robin. Okay, so we've got Robin, and who is going to play our Bart? Bart. Debbie. Deborah. Beautiful, Debbie. Okay, you go by Debbie, and all right. So I'm going to say scene, and when I say scene, I want you to start your scene. And then at some point, and it might be soon, I'm going to say freeze. And when I say freeze, I'm going to give a piece of direction, or maybe even better, I'm going to maybe ask all of you who are the audience to make an offer that we'll play with. I think you'll get a sense of that. We might, anyway, I'm not going to tell you what we might do. We're just going to do it. Okay. So again, Robin is Jennifer and Debbie is Bart, who just can't make sense or understand what Jennifer is saying. And you're in authority, Bart. You're the authority here. And scene.
Bart, I am wondering if we can slow this down just a little bit before we start our program.
Slow what down?
Oh, the planning of everyone's roles. I'm hoping that we can just review that before we get started.
What, don't you understand your role?
Oh,
Are you speaking for everybody else?
Oh gosh, no. Sorry, no. I am feeling I think if we could just confirm everyone's role so there's no misunderstanding, it's possible that would make everybody feel.
So you're speaking for everybody else.
Freeze. All right, I'm going to come to you, our wonderful audience, for a cultural genre, like something cultural, from the arts. Whatever your favorite type of movie or TV show or dance, or I don't know, something artsy.
A Western.
A what?
A Western. A cowboy.
A Western.
A
Okay.
Western cowboy.
Great.
Spaghetti
Great.
cowboy? I don't know. Is that what you
Beautiful.
call it?
Yep, we call them cowboys or cowgirls. All right, great. So we're going to pick up the scene, but now we're in a black and white Western movie. Go.
I want to just suggest if we could review.
Review what? It's right there on the saloon wall, what we gotta do and when we gotta do it, how we gotta do it. You just gotta hang up those guns.
Miss Kitty may not know exactly what to do, and I know as the bartender, I am not sure how to proceed.
Well, where'd you get your training from?
Well, this here bartender went to another small corral, and I feel like this might not be room for all of us here unless we review.
Sounds like there's not room for you here if you don't know what you're doing.
And freeze. Fabulous. Okay, let's switch it up and let's have a non-verbal cultural form, like something that doesn't include words.
Mime.
Mime. Fantastic. Thank you, Gregory. All right, we're going to pick up the scene exactly where it is. And we have Marcel Marceau and his alter ego, Marceau Marcel, doing a mime version of our scene exactly where it was, and go. And thank you, scene. Beautiful. Give our players a big round of applause. Thank you
Remind
so
me
much.
never to volunteer for something like this again.
Oh, Debbie.
Debbie, there's no way that you're not going to volunteer again, and there's no way we would want you to not perform. You both were performing beautifully, and great suggestions, everybody. Okay, great. So now we have a sense of what we're doing. Who would like to give us another scenario?
I'd like to suggest we're in a doctor's office, Wally.
Great. Should we take that? I mean, in improv, we tend to go with the first suggestion, but Wally, hold on to your thought. If you're like me, write it down, and we'll come to you next. So, Myrna, let's cast this scene. So, one, do you want to be in it, or do you want to cast it, and do you want to play yourself? Like, say more about the scene so we can get it cast.
Okay, so this is a person with dementia going to the doctor, and they're taking their care partner with them, and the doctor is talking to the care partner.
Okay, great. So we have 3 people in this scene. So we have the care partner, the person with dementia, and the doctor. Do you want to be in this, Myrna?
I'd like to watch this one, please.
You would like to watch. Okay, great. So I need 3 wonderful, brave volunteers. So who would like to play the person with dementia? Raise your hand. You can raise your Zoom hand or your real hand. I'm looking for hands. Don't be shy. Has anybody volunteered? Did someone volunteer?
Yeah, Dorothea.
Dorothea, great. All right, thank you, Tech. Whoever spotlit Dorothea, thank you, thank you. All right, so we need our, so Dorothea, you'll be the person with dementia, and we need your care partner. Who wants to be our care partner? or Dorothea's care partner, actually. Who would like to do that? Any volunteers?
Ellen?
Helen?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, great. We'll spotlight you, Helen. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I did not successfully spotlight Helen. Add spotlight. There we go. And we need the doctor. The doctor. Who would like to be the doctor? Nicola. Wonderful. All right, great. All right, so we have a 3-person scene. Just to review, Dorothy is our person living with dementia. Helen is her care partner, and Nicola is the doctor. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use your wonderful words earlier. The doctor, Nicola, do you have a name for your character?
Sure. Dr. Baxter.
Dr. Baxter is a drama queen.
Can I be Thelma?
Yes. You mean your name is Thelma, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, because you could also be Thelma from the movie Thelma and Louise. That's where I
Oh no, I
But
don't know them.
Your name is Thelma, and you are an idea person. Got a lot of ideas, Thelma. And Helen, do you have a name for your character?
Sure. I'm Greta.
And Greta is chaotic.
Okay.
Okay. So you all have a little character that you're going to play. This is so appropriate. I've already forgotten Dorothy's. What did I say? Does anybody remember? The idea person, right?
Mhm.
So Thelma is the idea person. The doctor is a drama queen, and Helen, what your
Chaotic.
chaotic. Wonderful. Okay, so scene.
Welcome to my office. This is my office. Isn't it lovely? It's very grand. You may take a seat over there and watch me over there.
Where are you?
Where should we sit? Where should we sit, Doctor?
Over there on the chairs, if you don't mind, just on the chairs, and I will be standing here
Okay.
for you to watch. You can watch me.
Why are we here?
Oh, Dorothea, such a wonderful question. It's such a wonderful question. Why are you here? That is the question. Why have you come?
Why are you using your hands?
Well, my hands are how I express, Dorothea, so that when I communicate, it's very clear to you what I'm saying. Are you fine?
I don't understand, Doctor. You're a doctor. I don't know why you're doing this thing with your hands.
It's how I communicate. If you would like, I could do it in song if you would prefer.
So,
Freeze.
so
Freeze. Yes. The answer is yes. We want to do it in song. Please continue in song.
Marion?
Yes.
Sorry, can I just add one quick thing? I
Of
think
course.
it's important to continue the dynamic that the doctor's only speaking to the care partner. So as we do this, just kind of remember to incorporate that.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Greta, how can I help you? Why are you here to see me?
I think
Greta, why are you here to see me?
we are here because we want to get help. Thelma keeps forgetting things, and we're very concerned and worried about that.
I think it's
What
you.
do you,
You're forgetting things. You're forgetting things, Greta. Not me.
Yes, I'm also forgetting things.
You're getting old, Greta.
I am. I'm getting too old and gray to help you anymore.
Greta, what do you need? How can I help you, Greta? What do you need from me? You're caring. Oh, you're caring, doctor. I forgot I was singing. Greta, what do you need?
I want to go home.
What?
I want to go home.
I want to go home too. Shall we go home now?
Yes. I don't like this lady.
But Greta, I haven't helped you. You must let me help you. It's so vital to my sense of well-being that you let me help you, Greta.
But I'm not here to get help. And I want also, I hear what my friend Thelma is saying. We want to get out of here.
I'm sorry, Greta. Who is Thelma? You speak Thelma. I'm not sure who you mean.
Thelma and Louise, have you heard of them?
Praise. Okay. All right, so I want to come to our audience. So what do you want to see in this scene now? So we've got a doctor who is very focused on the care partner, and the person living with dementia is sort of trying to bring the focus over to her. It's like, hello, I'm here. What could we do to maybe, we just had an offer. Okay, great. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for an offer. All right, so we're going to continue this scene, but you're going to bark it. You're going to bark it. So your three dogs, Nicola is the doctor dog, and Helen is the care partner dog, and Dorothy is the dog living with dementia. And the doctor dog really only is interested in dealing with the caregiver, and yet there is this other beautiful dog just being sort of ignored. So continue in barking. Freeze. Freeze. Dorothy, your character is, let's put a spotlight on your character and tell us, this little dog has learned a little bit of English. Tell us how you're feeling right now. And every once in a while you can throw in a bark, just to remind us that you are a dog. How's this making you feel, little doggy?
In dog language?
You can mix and match. You can go either way, whatever language suits you.
I'm here.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us more. If you have more to say.
Like, really? I lost my, am I still here? I lost my skin somewhere else, probably. I'm still here. Yeah.
Scene. Thank you so much. Let's give our players a really big round of applause. And we'll go back to gallery view. Beautiful job. Lovely, lovely. Mary, how are we doing for time?
Actually, I think let's open it up a bit and just see what Sponsa's thoughts, and then it might be we have a little bit of time to do a final thing, but
Great.
I think it would be good to open up. So let's hear from all of us.
Yeah,
Play with this.
that includes the players and the audience. What was this like? Is it helpful? And if so, how? Yeah, Shruti.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to share that this is such a great way to look at some what sounded initially like difficult scenarios. And I loved that sometimes when we're experiencing these things, we're stuck in our own perspective. And here, because of improv, you were able to make a stand in other perspectives. And that not only brought some humor to it, but I felt lightened, you know, kind of watching these players play out almost in comical tones and whatnot. And it actually was very insightful at the same time. And for me, like the second scenario in particular with Dorothy, the way she played her character in each viewpoint, it just became more and more obvious how much she was losing out on her personhood in this case. So although we were playing, there were some very poignant points that this brought up for me. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Lovely. Other thoughts, Debbie?
I was thinking how easy it is to be ignored and not listened to by others who have misconceptions about who we are as people.
Yeah, it's not, I think going back to what Mary was saying, it's not only people living with dementia who are ignored. It's a very human experience for so many people who are marginalized and not seen or heard or appreciated. Yeah, I'm with you. Myrna.
I was just gonna, whoops, my move to, I was just gonna play the poor me card because until you spoke and said everybody that's marginalized in some way feels like that. I feel that I've in some ways lost my playful part because I've suffered from a recent stigma, but it was wonderful to watch it. I just couldn't put myself there anymore. I hope that comes back real soon. I wanted to ask Debbie and Wally if they've still got that playful part.
Yeah. But I have moments where it's not there. And when it does come back, happier than a pig in mud. Because that's a part that I like about me.
Yeah.
I don't want to become apathetic.
Others? Yeah, Holly.
I was just thinking, although the doctor wasn't sort of overly doctorly with all the medical terms and all that usual jargon that they come out with, the doctor was quite self-absorbed. And when you're self-absorbed, you are naturally going to be immune or impervious or not noticing the needs of anybody other than yourself. So even though it wasn't a very doctor, sort of no offense to Nicola, it was amazing, but the drama queen doctor, the self-absorbed person, and that goes for anybody, whether you're a professional or not. If you're so embroiled in your own self, you're never going to be empathetic or responsive to anyone around. So I thought that was really interesting because I was expecting, you know, the sort of typical doctor jargon thing. So it was good. That was good.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I was thinking about what, I'm sorry, whoever said about being ignored, which, we all have felt it, or not being seen. And I realize, I mean, there are many complex reasons for that. And then obviously we could all share why we believe that's true. But it did occur to me off of what you were saying, Holly, is that I think we can be ignored because we simply say the same things over and over. We have a script that we go through life with. And I know whoever we are, as a professional, musician, as a mother, as a whoever we are, I mean, we all lead very complex lives. We're many things to many people, but we kind of fall into, we say the same things no matter what. And we kind of have the script and we know how to have the fight. And that, and at some point, I think we just stop hearing each other. So part of me was thinking, well, you'd never go barking in a doctor's office. On the other hand, I was thinking, it sure as hell would get their attention a lot faster than doing the performances that we know how to do. And so I think that that raises, like, how do we want to break out of? And again, not everyone will bark, but what, it's kind of, how do we grapple with that together? And what does that mean for us? Because that's like, not just because you get ignored, it's just that at some point we just can't hear each other, or we kind of, we can't get closer because we're saying the same things and in the same way. So I found this very moving, because it's like, God, we could just be so much more varied in our day-to-day kind of interactions with things. Nicolette?
I have a couple of thoughts. One is from a practical standpoint of view. I really appreciated, Marion, how you went through the steps of improv. As somebody who's kind of new to this area, that really clarified for me how things are supposed to move, because I did something with Mary and I failed completely because I feel like I didn't know how improv worked. But through talking to Mary and then you kind of going through each of the steps of improv, that was very helpful. And I feel more comfortable with this concept of improv. And the other thing, to Myrna's point, is thank you for sharing that, Myrna. And I've been talking about how I cry so easily, but it's because I feel like I sense, you know, how people feel. So pardon my crying. So I cry first, and then I have a suggestion. Or a recommendation is, if somebody has lost play, how do they find play again? So I'm sorry for the tears, but that would just be my call to action, is how do we help people find play again?
Wonderful question. And yeah, I don't know all of the answers, but I love that you're asking the question. Maybe I know no answers. I just think that that's a beautiful question. And I see the whole coalition as having that as part of your mission. I think that we are doing that. So thank you for that. Michelle?
Yeah, hi. Hello. One thing, I was thinking about so many things, and but one thing I was thinking about in terms of like how, you know, communication and how everything is so sped up now, and how to really listen to somebody, to really see them, you have to slow yourself down. And anyone, not just people living with dementia, anybody. So you know, in terms of like the doctor's office, I was thinking about my mother, who got 20 minutes with her primary care person to say that she was having loss of time, right? So so in that exchange, he gave her a, you know, prescription for an Alzheimer's drug without any, you know, so that kind of thing, that speeding up, slowing down, really listening, and also the time issue. So how do you expand time when you only have a limited amount of time and you don't have resources? So those were the kinds of things that I was thinking about, that this all made me think about. And now play as well.
Expanding time.
Nancy, Kat, and then Laura.
I was going to speak to Nicolette's point of how do you find play? You know, it's very interesting. When I very first came on board with Reimaginging dementia, this was out of my world. You know, screwing up my face and dancing and, you know, and I'm pretty playful, but I had never experienced it. And so the only thing that I could think of, Nicolette, is you were asking, and you are such a kind, loving person, is that you just have to keep coming back, because it is easier today, although not perfect, to, you know, scrooch up my face and pretend to dance and throw my arms around and whatever. I think it's a learned behavior for some of us. It doesn't come naturally, and you just have to keep doing it. And so if we're doing it for a person, a loved one with dementia, I'm wondering if it's easier. I think it would be easier one-on-one than it would be for me, for sure, than it would be to do it with, you know, however many people are here today. So I just think you have to just keep attempting to do it, and pretty soon it's going to be okay, because it is easier today for me than it was a year ago.
Wonderful.
Laura? Oh, sorry, Kat, did you want to say something, or was it Nancy?
It's Nancy.
Okay. Laura? You're on mute. Unmute yourself, Laura.
Sorry. I wanted to speak to Nicolette's question, not that I am living with dementia, but that my dad had dementia, and he was 66 when he was diagnosed. And what I found was so amazing was I was able to figure out a new way to communicate with him that was all through play. And I had to learn that myself. It took me years to understand it, because he lost his words very early on into the diagnosis. And he was a guy that would like tell the longest stories and never get to the point, but brought in all the details. And that's who I get it from, you know. But we had to figure out a whole new way to relate to each other. And so what I try to teach long distance caregivers specifically, but caregivers in general, that you can still connect to that person living with dementia, but it's just a different way of communicating. And what I like to think of it as is like, join them in the time machine, you know, like join them in this new place, which is why improvisation is like the gateway, I feel like, to helping people understand that it's not going to be like how it was, but that's okay, you know, because you can create a whole new relationship with your dad or, you know, your parent or the person living with dementia. And what I thought was so beautiful is that towards, you know, in the mid stage, the end of my dad's dementia, it was like he was 100% play. Like there was no seriousness left, right? So even if you know, I don't know what your future looks like, but even if you're losing play right now, it doesn't mean that it's gone forever. That the way that dementia progresses, no one knows how it's going to progress. And the more you can educate people around you to join you in the moment and try this improvisation and join my world, because it's so much less lonely when you join me, that will be helpful, I think.
Wonderful. I also had a dad with dementia, and he was the most playful, and we just played and played some more. I mean, simple kinds of play also. I mean, I think sometimes we think play has to be very active, and play can be a simple thing like mirroring. You know, like if everybody starts mirroring, looking at me and doing what I'm doing literally as though we are a mirror image of each other, that's a form of play. They're very simple forms of play that don't require going way out of your comfort zone. I think sometimes people think that and forget that we were all children, and the children we were are also part of who we are, and we can reconnect with how we played. We didn't feel self-conscious playing as children. It's just what you do when you're a kid. So I like to remind people of that.
One other point before we have to head toward closing, and but I think that, and maybe this by way of beginning minute of toast to our 2nd anniversary. And by the way, congratulations to everyone, because reaching 2 years when you're a grassroots organization, particularly now coming out of the pandemic where life is now going through a whole nother strange upheaval, and, you know, and very committed to remaining grassroots and independent. It is a tribute to all of us, really, that we have made, not only made it, but we are thriving. I think we're creating. I think we're growing. But maybe my initial toast, and I'll raise my, if you have it, I'll raise my glass. It's actually off of what, maybe it's around losing play. I mean, it's very easy to lose play in this culture. God knows. And so I think maybe the toast is to a community of people, because I always believe if you want to play, you've got to find the players and surround yourself by people who will create that environment with you, because it's not natural, as somebody said. I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Marion. Marion spends a lot of time creating the environment in which we can do this, and others do as well. But that's kind of what we have to do in life. This isn't natural. You can't just do it. You have to work and find the people who want to do it with you. And sometimes it's not the people you desperately wish would come along with you. And sometimes it is, but you can always find others. So here's to the players, and let's continue. And thank you all for doing what you do and for having spread this around the world. And I think if all we do is bring play and joy to the world, hey, that's no small accomplishment. So here's to all of us. Somebody want to close us out with a toast? Actually, we're not going to dance our way out. Since we danced before, we're going to toast our way out. Okay. Don't be shy. Somebody raise a glass.
To play.
To play. Here, here.
Play, here, here.
And we'll be doing more of it. Let's keep playing with this. If there's things you would love to see in future meetings, let us know. But otherwise, and Marion, maybe you can bring back up your music just so we can close out on that.
Excellent. There we go.
Keep sharing.
Beatbox with it.
Coalition, let people know there are alternatives and creative, joyful alternatives, not only to dementia, but so many things. So please have a wonderful night, a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful life, a wonderful year.
Love you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Ha ha.